This is not the scene you'd expect to see on Halloween in southern Wisconsin. Snow fell through the night and during much of the day, causing a messy commute this morning. Good afternoon and welcome to Live at 4.
Hello, everybody, and happy Halloween. Normally, we'd be out on the weather patio with our costumes and our trick-or-treaters, but all of our decorations are under 4 inches of snow today. So we're going to move the party inside this afternoon. We're going to have some trick-or-treaters coming in just a little while. This is Wisconsin.
Yes.
You got to roll with it.
You got to adjust.
You have to adjust.
Yes.
And we'll get to more on that. But first, the snow. We're starting right away with team coverage this afternoon. Our Madeline O'Neill is in Sun Prairie with an update on conditions here in Dane County.
And Adam Duxter's in Rock County, where a man says a key part of his business was stolen from him right when he needs it most, the first snow.
But first, let's head out to the weather patio. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield says the kids will really need to bundle up tonight for trick-or-treating. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Susan and Mark. Yeah, as the snow moves out, the concern becomes these very cold temperatures and wind chills as we get into the evening hours during prime trick-or-treating hours. So Doppler track is showing the last semblance of snow moving closer to Lake Michigan. So some light snow still in spots like Milwaukee and along the lake. But for much of southern Wisconsin, that snow has come to an end. In Madison, we can see the snow on the rooftops. There still may be a few slick roads outside, even though we've said goodbye to that snow for the past couple of hours in spots like Madison. But still, this is deceptively slippery snow with a lot of water content to it. And so a concern will also be as these temperatures dip into the 30s and 20s, which they will quickly do as skies clear, will we get some refreezing overnight. Still some gusty winds out there at about 20 to 25 miles per hour, gusting out of the north and west. And that's making it feel like the 20s. And this is just right now, folks. We have a little bit of sunshine helping us out. But as we get into the early evening hours, it could feel like the teens as those temperatures dip into the 20s pretty quickly under mostly clear skies. So lots to look out for as far as trick-or-treating goes. Bundle up and stay safe as we head out over the next couple of hours. And if you are planning on driving, remember, still some messy conditions to the east. But let's take a look at your first alert traffic update. Broadway and the Beltline, we are noticing that slow go, pretty normal eastbound. So the roads have definitely improved considering where they were this morning. So no major accidents or incidents to talk about across Dane County right now. There is a stalled vehicle on the westbound Beltline near Old Sauk Road. That's not really causing many delays at the present time. A little bit slow right now, eastbound Verona Road to John Nolan, 6 minutes with an average speed of around 40 miles per hour. And some other routes in and around Madison, not looking too bad. Westbound Middleton to Sauk City on Highway 12, that'll cost you about 20 minutes with an average speed of around 50 miles per hour. We'll talk about just how many records fell in October 2019 and what we can expect as we head closer to the weekend in your first alert forecast.
All right, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave. At least 10 cars were involved in a crash on Madison's west side this morning during the messy commute. Madison police say around 8:30 this morning, they responded to a call for a multi-vehicle crash on Raymond Road, just west of Muirfield Road. No one was hurt, but it took crews a while to clear and reopen the road.
All lanes of Highway 51 in the town of Dunn are back open after a crash involving a stolen car this morning. Dane County Sheriff's Office says a 2011 Ford Edge had been reported stolen from Stoughton. The 17-year-old driver lost control of the car and crossed over into oncoming traffic, hitting a minivan head-on, then spinning out into two other vehicles. At least 5 people were transported to local hospitals with non-life-threatening injuries. The teen driver was arrested for operating while intoxicated, causing an injury and could face additional charges. Dodge County deputies responded to a car that crashed into a school bus outside the town of Rubicon this morning. According to an administrator of the Herman Nashuro Rubicon School District, the car rear-ended the bus. There were no injuries. It's not clear how many children were on the bus at the time.
With winter weather coming early this year, many drivers did not have time to prepare. Our Madeline O'Neill is live off Highway 151 in Sun Prairie with what this snow means for road conditions and drivers. Maddie?
Hi, well, luckily the snow has stopped here. It seems like the sun is trying to peek out, but that doesn't mean it's any warmer. Still pretty cold out here. But main thoroughfares like the Interstate Highway 151 here are pretty clear. That doesn't mean there aren't some slippery spots, especially on snow-covered parts of the road or bridges and ramps. The State Patrol says they've responded to more than a dozen crashes, so it's important you don't get too confident in your driving skills.
Some will get very comfortable, and depending on what type of vehicle they're driving, like if it's an SUV or an all-wheel drive vehicle, they will feel that they have more confidence to operate that vehicle in maybe a faster manner. And it's not true. That vehicle can do the same thing as any other vehicle. It can go off the road, it can slide, and you can crash.
Sergeant Joe Lowe says it's likely plenty of drivers weren't ready for snow on Halloween like this, meaning no winter emergency kits in cars or new tires. But that will likely be a push to prepare. Tire shops are feeling that today, including Broadway Tire here in Sun Prairie and their Monona location. They tell me they've been slammed all day as people get their cars ready for winter.
Tires make a huge difference. One thing that we realize is sometimes people may overinflate their tires, or tires may not have enough air in it, especially when it's cold. The temperature in the tire goes up and down, so people are definitely coming in.
Now, Broadway Tire was so busy today, they had to stop taking appointments and start booking for tomorrow. Now, of course, Halloween is a holiday. Plenty of people are preparing to go out tonight. Authorities want to remind people not to drink and drive, especially in wintry conditions like this. Now, we'll have an update on road conditions coming up at 5 and 6.
We will see you then. Madeline O'Neill live in Sun Prairie. Maddie, thank you.
Officials with the City of Madison Streets Division say they like to be ready for snow by Halloween. While the first major snowstorm of the year came earlier than usual, snowplow drivers were ready to go. However, Brian Johnson of the Streets Division says it was by no means perfect timing.
Leaf collection is still going on right now. We weren't absolutely all right, let's get ready for snow season. There were still, some things we needed to get ready and prep.
Johnson says plows were out since midnight putting salt on main roads, and plows plan to stay on the road until everything is clear. Well, snow along the state line has been some of the heaviest in the entire state.
As people there gear up to shovel and plow, one man says something is missing. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joins us live from Janesville with why he says the timing could not be worse. Adam?
Yeah, Mark and Susan, yesterday Casey Waller said he parked his truck near here, the Rock County Job Center in Janesville. When he got back out into the parking lot, he found the snowblower that he uses for his snow removal business gone off of a trailer, off of the back of his truck. And he says with the incoming snow today, he relies on that snowblower to do his job. And without it, he had to clear roughly 20 driveways by hand using a shovel this morning. Still, he says he's in disbelief that someone would actually take it from him.
And I got my truck, went to pull out, and I heard a clatter sound. I was like, what was that? And looked back, and my shovel had fallen. Well, that's when I knew my snowblower wasn't there.
He says it's a Toro Commander snowblower, which is actually a commercial grade snowblower, not even something that you would find in stores. And he says tonight, if you have it or if you find it, please just to give it back. No questions asked. He says he relies on it to do his job, and undoubtedly with more snow in the forecast in months to come, he says it's something he really relies on.
He's shoveling the driveways by hand.
20 of them, yeah.
Wow. Adam Duxter live in Janesville. Adam, thank you.
Our weather coverage continues throughout the evening as you prepare the kids to go out trick-or-treating. Stay with News 3 Now and Channel3000.com for the latest on the conditions. Well, in other news, for the fourth time in our nation's history, Congress will begin impeachment hearings against a sitting U.S. president. And for the first time, a Trump administration political appointee is giving his account of what happened during the president's call with Ukraine. That's at the center of the probe.
Nicole Killian brings us the latest developments from Capitol Hill.
On this vote, the yeas are 232, The nays are 196. The resolution is adopted.
In a near party line vote, the House approved a resolution that allows Congress to hold public impeachment hearings against President Trump.
We take no joy in having to move down this road and proceed with the impeachment inquiry, but neither do we shrink from it.
President Trump watched the vote at the White House and tweeted, "The greatest witch hunt in American history."
I guess it's only fitting you take this vote on Halloween.
The resolution designates open hearings and allows the president and his counsel to question witnesses, but the president must cooperate with the House investigation or Democrats can strip his rights.
That's the equivalent of saying in the First Amendment, you have the right to the freedom of speech, but you can only say the words I agree with.
Today's debate did not slow down the closed-door investigation into President Trump's dealings with Ukraine. The president's departing Russia expert Tim Morrison was in the hot seat today. CBS News has confirmed Morrison was not initially concerned about Mr. Trump's phone call with Ukraine's president, but later learned military aid was conditioned on Ukraine publicly announcing political investigations.
The allegations are as serious as it gets, endangering national security for political gain.
Our president was right in being concerned about corruption. Our president was right in wanting to look into interference in the 2016 election.
Morrison's testimony comes one day after the White House confirmed his resignation. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Democratic Congressman Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey and Colin Peterson of Minnesota joined their Republican colleagues in voting against the resolution. Michigan's Justin Amash, an independent who left the Republican Party a few weeks ago, voted with Democrats for the resolution.
More fast-moving wildfires have devastated communities in Southern California, but the worst may finally be over. Firefighters stamped out the last hot spots in the wreckage of this San Bernardino house. It was one of 6 homes damaged when flames raced down the hillside in this heavily populated area east of Los Angeles. Residents who stayed through the night fought a nightmarish scene of smoke and flames.
I managed to put the hillside out around my backyard and keep my house from burning. I feel bad that others weren't able to do that.
The good news is shifting weather and calmer winds will help firefighters keep the upper hand on threatened areas like the Reagan Library in Simi Valley. And in Northern California, crews are finally taking control of fires that have destroyed at least 140 homes in Sonoma County.
An update into the Channel 3000 Alert Center in just the last half hour. The State Journal says President Trump has signed a bill allowing the Sun Prairie Post Office to be renamed after fallen fire captain Corey Barr. Barr was killed during an explosion last year in Sun Prairie. He's credited with saving more than 100 people by evacuating them before the blast.
The Washington Nationals are world champions.
By a score of 6-2, the Washington Nationals are baseball's new champions. The team beat out the favorites, the Houston Astros, last night in Game 7 of the World Series. It's the first time in the team's history that they've won the World Series. You may remember the Nationals beat the Brewers in the wild card game, eliminating them from the playoffs.
It was sort of a remarkable story that they had this season.
It really was. And every win was an away game.
That's right. Yeah.
No home team won.
Very impressive. Congratulations to them.
Still to come at 4, everybody knows sriracha hot chili sauce packs a wallop.
Hundreds of bottles of it in Australia had an extra kick, crystal meth. We'll tell you about this big drug bust when Live at 4 continues. Police in Australia have made a massive drug bust.
Seizing hundreds of pounds of crystal meth hidden in surprising objects. Australian police raided a home in Sydney yesterday. 4 men are in custody for smuggling crystal meth hidden in bottles of sriracha chili sauce. Border forces seized more than 700 bottles of the sauce that's wildly popular around the world.
They've gone to considerable effort to make the sauce appear to be sauce, and within it is embedded a significant amount of methamphetamine.
Nearly 900 pounds of crystal meth hidden in the bottles were shipped from the U.S. to a freight depot in Sydney earlier this month. The drugs have an estimated street value of $210 million. Fading hopes of a trade deal with China sent stocks lower. The Dow Industrials fell 140 points, ending the day at 27,046. The Nasdaq lost 11. The S&P 500 was off 9. Well, it's almost the weekend in the 608.
It's almost here, and here with a look at what's going on around town this weekend is Madison Magazine Associate Editor Joel Patnod. Hi, Joel.
Hi.
Good to see you.
You too.
So you can keep the Halloween celebration going Friday and Saturday night with a little music this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, after you're done, obviously raiding your kids' candy bags, like I'll be doing. They don't watch this, so I'm safe. But yeah, so then Friday and Saturday night, there's freaking Halloweekend at the High Noon Saloon.
Love the name.
That is a great
Exactly.
name.
Well, this is an event where several local bands will join each other, actually, to perform as their favorite pop and rock stars. So they'll be in costume, as will presumably the fans there at the saloon. But they'll be doing tributes to Sarah McLachlan, The Cure, and The Doors. That's Friday night. Then Saturday, you'll see Prince, Culture Club, and Elton John, among others. And then each night at 11 p.m. is the big costume contest with prizes, including cash at stake.
All right, Halloween for adults.
Exactly.
All right, I can't believe these guys are still around. ZZ Top?
ZZ Top, 50 years since they founded in Houston, Texas. And with 3 of the original band members, presumably at least 2 of the original Beards, right? So this blues rock band is playing the Sylvie. And they were inducted, in fact, into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame back in 2004. They're known for songs such as Sharp Dressed Man and Gimme All Your Lovin', of course. They're, like I said, at the Sylvie on Friday.
The ZZ Top.
So no, you know, stand-ins. These are the guys.
That's pretty cool. It's pretty exciting. There are some puppet shows this weekend, but these are kind of adult-only puppet shows.
And I'm sure it's just a coincidence of scheduling. They don't have anything to do with each other, but I thought it was hilarious. Starting tonight and through Saturday afternoon, there's one called the Patchwork Puppets Parading on Mercury at the Bartell Theater. This is a collaboration between 2 local theater groups, Are We Delicious and the Mercury Players, and they have written, rehearsed, and performed, they will have, all in a single week, this production. And just doing it with puppets kind of ups the ante a bit, the challenge anyway. And then separately, over at the Overture Center is that Golden Girls show. It's a parody of that 1980s favorite, The Golden Girls. If you are wishing that show would come back, this is probably as good as you're going to get. So if you remember the roommates, Dorothy, Blanche, and Rose, they're depicted as full-size puppets. And this is a popular off-Broadway parody that's on tour. And their quick-witted, saucy talk, these women in their 60s, it's a loving tribute. It doesn't make fun of them at all, but it looks to be just hilarious. And, you know, for adults probably, more so because the material's a little dated.
Saucy, yeah.
And so it might go over some heads.
I think Betty White's the only living Golden Girl, isn't she?
I think so, yeah.
Should be a fun show.
Yeah.
All right, Joel, thank you.
Thank you, Joel.
Get this month's Madison Magazine for all the best in the Madison area. Stick with us. There's more to come at 4. We'll invite our special trick-or-treaters into the studio.
And then coming up tonight at 5, we continue our snowstorm coverage. We'll update the forecast as kids prepare to head out for trick-or-treating tonight.
Take a look at this. It's a self-carving pumpkin. An Italian artist made a visually stunning stop-motion video of a pumpkin carving itself into a grinning face. And he wasn't satisfied with just carving it. He also added eyeballs and special lighting. The artist who lives in Rome released this video just in time for Halloween.
That is incredible.
So cool.
How long did it take him? Did it say?
It didn't say.
Wow. Well, speaking of pumpkins, bears at the Brookfield Zoo got a treat this morning.
Yeah, the zoo's bears were caught on camera digging into the Halloween treats. The pumpkins were filled with things like blueberries, fish, and nutritious biscuits. It's not something they get to eat all the time, but zoo workers say the special treats help give the animals a physical and mental boost.
And this might be a first. Ollie the Pacific octopus used his 8 limbs and hundreds of suckers to unwrap a pumpkin filled with herring at the Point Defiance Zoo and Aquarium in Tacoma, Washington.
Wow.
Everybody's in the
We've seen bears and tigers, but never an octopus.
That is really cool. So today is a historic day. We broke a big
all
record.
of the records, basically.
Everyone.
Yeah, the October 2019 is a month that we're going to remember for a long, long time here in Madison.
Very wet.
Yeah, very wet, very snowy, cold. We'll talk about what to expect for your trick-or-treat forecast. Hopefully you don't get any rocks or snow in your trick-or-treating in your First Alert forecast in just a few minutes. Good afternoon and happy Halloween. I hope you had a great Thursday. Yes, we got the snow on Halloween, which is a pretty rare event, but this is Wisconsin, folks, and we got to have fun with it. Check out this photo of Marvin in Blue Mounds. We got a snowmobiling pirate for Halloween. Now, I love the badger. It's a great state mascot, but I think a snowmobiling pirate would be pretty cool for a couple of days. And that just kind of says how awesome this state is. Never change, Wisconsin. Roxy, thank you so much for sending this in. Maybe you've had to alter your costume or your child's costume because of the snow and the chilly temperatures. The good news is that snow has moved out across much of southern Wisconsin. Just some flurries showing up closer to Milwaukee. I don't anticipate that snow coming back anytime soon, so we will be dry for trick-or-treating. But there's still going to be some threats outside, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Let's talk about snow totals. So we have had a report this afternoon from Middleton of 7.5 inches of snow. The rest of us picking up generally about 3 to 5 inches at the airport total for this system. We've gotten 5 inches of snow. Beloit at about 4.5. Mazomanie, Muscadet coming in at 4.5 as well. And Fort Atkinson just below 4. So let's get on to the records. We broke a lot of them just today and over this entire month in general. The snowiest Halloween on record. So at the airport, 3.9 inches of the 5 inches of snow fell today. That broke about a 95-year-old record. Now, as far as the entire month goes, check this out. An inch of snow each day to end the month of October. That's 4 straight days. That's never happened in October or November. So this is the earliest that has occurred basically by a month and change. And our 8 inches of snow, our total now for Madison, just smashes the record for snowiest October ever. So that actually breaks a 102-year-old record. 8 inches of snow in total. And I had a lot of people asking me, Dave, does that mean that the winter overall will be bad? Well, 3 out of the last 4 times this has happened, these are the 5 snowiest Octobers, we've ended up with above normal snowfall. However, it bears repeating. In 2007, 2008, when we got more than 100 inches of snow, we had no snow in October and only 1.5 inches in November. So Mother Nature can make up some time pretty quickly. We did see some snow make up a lot of our skies through the morning and early afternoon hours, but right now, looking at some sunshine peeking through those clouds in Madison. Today's high, 32 degrees. Oh, nothing to really talk about, just 20 degrees below normal for this time of year. And that chilly temperature will stick around for much of this evening into trick-or-treating time. Temperatures falling through the 20s, so you'll need to bundle up. But this doesn't take into account the wind chill, which could be in the teens at times this evening into the overnight hours. As far as snow goes, we're done for the day. However, there could be some light snow showers, maybe some rain mixing in at times tomorrow afternoon and evening. Really don't expect major impacts from that, but don't be surprised if we see a few more flakes flying tomorrow. And then we should be dry for most of the weekend, and that includes on Saturday. Tonight, temperatures dipping into the teens as we start off Friday morning. The snow ending to the east, then clearing and colder. For tomorrow, I think those highs in the upper 30s, cloudy and cold with some rain and snow showers not out of the question by the afternoon. So on future track, we notice the clearing skies. That's going to allow those temperatures to dip into the 20s for trick-or-treating tonight. So really bundle up and stay safe because some of that slush that's out there right now could also refreeze with those temperatures really dipping quickly through the 20s, starting off in the teens in Madison tomorrow morning. And then you could see some of those light rain and snow showers developing in the afternoon and early evening. Again, not really expecting major impacts from those, but be aware that they could be out there tomorrow. And then Saturday, we should be dry with those highs once again in the mid to upper 30s. I think we'll hit the 40s on Sunday. Woohoo, a warm up. I think we stay in the 40s for Sunday and Monday. Keep in mind, we have to fall back this weekend. I was talking with somebody on social media today, and he wanted me to fall back to a time where this snow didn't exist. And I don't think that's how the space-time continuum works, unfortunately. But we will be really stuck in the 30s for much of next week with a few flurries possible. And really, the colder than normal temperatures look to continue for much of the start of November.
52 it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be 52. And on October 1st, we had temperatures in the mid-70s with our wettest October 1st ever. And then today, 32 degrees, our snowiest October 31st.
Is that a snowflake tie?
It is.
Thank you.
I had to break it out.
Rub it in.
Thank you, Dave.
This may be an understatement. We expect this won't be the last snowstorm of the year. What do you think?
I think that's
You
true.
can stay updated via the First Alert weather app to give you the News 3's now accurate forecasts. It's a unique alternative for people who don't want to be buried in a cemetery.
A California company is making it possible for people to choose a tree in the forest as their final resting place. Chris Martinez explains.
Bambi Lignell feels at peace, knowing she carried out her mother's final wish.
She wanted to be in the redwoods.
Bambi's mother passed away after a fight with cancer. Her ashes are now spread around this tree deep in a California forest where a marker bears her name.
My brothers and I can come tell stories. And, I'd much rather do that here than in a cemetery.
That's the intention behind Better Place Forest and its co-founder Sandy Gibson. His idea of replacing gravestones with nature, born from the unpleasant memory of his own mother's burial.
It's this big black tombstone right by a busy street in a busy cemetery, and it was just never kind of the vision of what I want to think of when I think of her.
He instead wants families to think of settings like this, a 20-acre plot of redwood forest near the Northern California coast. Here, families can purchase the rights to one of thousands of trees and spread a loved one's ashes around its base. The trees range from about $3,000 to $32,000, depending on size and location. That money helps purchase the land.
We then partner with land trusts and conservation groups to create conservation easements that permanently protect the forest from development.
I like that a lot.
For her mom's final resting place, Bambi chose this young tan oak, which still has a long life ahead.
Oh, she'd love it. When this thing gets, 40 feet wide, that's Mama smiling.
She plans to be with her again one day in this forest with a tree of her own. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Point Arena, California.
It's a beautiful idea,
yeah,
isn't
it?
Really
Is.
Better Place Forest will soon expand its acreage in California and also plans to open land to customers in Washington, Colorado, Oregon, and Arizona in the coming months.
Well, when we come back, bats are often associated with Halloween.
Even more so this year as we're in the middle of International Bat Week. We'll find out what makes these flying mammals so special when Live at 4's Halloween edition continues. Welcome back, everyone. Bats have long been associated, of course, with Halloween.
And they're putting on quite a show in South Texas. Bracken Cave is nestled in a nature preserve near San Antonio. It's home to millions of Mexican free-tailed bats. Every night at sunset, the bats put on a show for the people who visit. It's an experience known as an emergence that literally envelops its audience. The bats can fly as high as 10,000 feet and travel 60 miles away from this cave, hunting for food, which in turn helps Texas farmers. That's because the bats can eat nearly 150 tons of bugs a night.
These night-flying creatures can save farmers billions in pest control, and they are essential to our ecosystem. Amy Ray is a doctoral candidate at UW-Madison in wildlife ecology, and she's here to tell us more during this International Bat Week. Hi, Amy. Welcome to Live at 4.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Bats are such fascinating creatures, but they are very misunderstood, aren't they? Don't they kind of get a bad rap?
I think they really do, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about why are we so afraid of them when they play such a vital role?
I think people are afraid of the unknown, and so a bat, we don't really see them even if they're kind of all around us, or people might only catch a glimpse of it flapping by. So I think when people learn more about bats and see them up close, they realize how special they are.
And it's a mammal, it's not a bird. That is confusing to some people, I think.
Right. So bats are the only flying mammal. Flying squirrels are just big fakers. Only bats.
They just jump tree to tree, they don't really fly.
Right.
So why are they so important for our ecosystem?
Bats do a lot of really important things around the world. They pollinate a lot of plants, including agave, which tequila comes from. So without bats, we wouldn't have tequila.
Okay, save the bats.
Right, and they also consume a lot of pests like you were talking about earlier. So this is really helpful to agricultural sectors all around the world. And bats are also really important seed dispersers. So when they eat some kind of fruit and then they fly very far, they can promote the genetic diversity of forests.
And this little teeny one here, this is one that's found in Wisconsin?
That one is not found in Wisconsin.
Okay.
That little teeny guy, that was a tequila bat, one of the species that pollinates agave.
So what bats are here?
Yeah, what are the species we have here?
So Wisconsin has 8 bats. The newest species that they found just a few years ago is the evening bat. We also have the little brown bat, the big brown bat, the tricolored bat, hoary bat, red bat, northern long-eared bat, and then the evening bat. So that's 8 species, I think.
Are they protected here in Wisconsin? Sometimes you find one in your house and people get out a tennis racket, but you're not supposed to harm them, right?
Right, so bats are facing a lot of conservation challenges. Some of them are affected by a disease called white nose syndrome, and so it's really important to protect their population. So there are definitely humane ways to exclude bats if you don't want them in your house, which is totally understandable. But it's really important to follow the protocols that have been established for doing that so that they're protected.
So if you see them flying around at night, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing. They're probably flying around, eating bugs, and just kind of minding their own business.
What about vampire bats that everybody seems to be so scared of? They're not in this part of the country, are they?
Right, so there are 3 species of vampire bats out of over 1,400 bat species. So not that many species are vampires, and they live only in Central and South America.
So not here.
Not here. And they much prefer to feed on livestock like cows, or some of the species will feed on chickens. So there's not a huge human risk from them, and definitely not in Wisconsin.
All right, well, let's
There's
save
so much
the bats.
to learn about them, yeah.
Absolutely fascinating. Amy, thanks for being with us today.
Oh,
Happy
thanks.
Halloween. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, happy Bat Week.
Happy Bat Week. Well, it is time. The trick-or-treaters are gathering in the green room.
We're doing Halloween inside this year because of the weather, but we'll meet our ghosts and goblins. They're all getting ready to come into the studio. That's when live. Oh, they're so cute. This is my favorite show of the year. That's when Live at 4 continues.
Quick look at your first alert traffic update on this Halloween. There is an accident right now on the Beltline westbound at Todd Drive. The shoulder is blocked, and that is causing a little bit of delays. We're also seeing some pretty hefty delays westbound John Nolan to Verona Road, 23 minutes with an average speed only around 12 miles per hour. And some other routes in and around Madison westbound, the whole Beltline costing you 35 minutes. And Sun Prairie to downtown southbound, 10 minutes, average speed of around 15 miles per hour. And that's your first alert traffic update.
All right, Dave, thank you. Here we go. It's time for our Halloween spectacular. Of course, we have Chief Engineer Kevin Rupert on the, what is it called?
Theremin.
The Theremin. He'll be supplying the music. And I think the kids are at the door.
Oh, there's the doorbell.
There's the doorbell.
Okay, come on in. Come on in, guys. This is Remy and Alex. This is Justine, one of our director's sons. Hi, guys. Happy Halloween. Remy, what are you?
A demon.
Oh, you're a demon. How about you, Alex?
I'm a Fortnite skin.
A what?
Fortnite skin.
Fortnite.
Oh, okay.
Did you get some candy?
All right, here we go.
Yes, you are. You're on. Did you get some, Remy?
Yeah.
You did? Okay, guys, thank you. Happy Halloween.
Look at this. It's Dorothy and the lion.
You look so great. You're Dorothy, right?
Yeah.
Take some candy. Happy Halloween.
Where's your brother? Oh. The cowardly lion, of course, is a little afraid here.
There you go.
She's got her.
Here, we'll help you out here. All right. I can't see with these glasses. I have to take them off.
All right. Happy Halloween.
Hi, Primly. Are you a dragon?
No.
What are you?
I'm Gecko.
Oh, you're a gecko. Hi, Paisley. And you're Anna from Frozen. Oh, I love your costume. Happy Halloween, guys.
Happy Halloween.
I have one of these in my house.
Okay, we're gonna get another one.
Okay, happy Halloween.
All right, next.
This way. Go this way.
Steve, help out here.
This is Avery. She's our director, Nicole's daughter. Hi, Avery. You're a toad. I love your headband. You look so cute, honey. Happy Halloween. Hi there. Hi, buddy.
Mike Wazowski.
Hi. Hi,
Can
Mike.
you say hi? Hi. Do you want some candy?
How about some candy? There
I think
you
the
go.
Thurman's got him
How
a little
about you, Mom?
confused.
Happy Halloween. Have a good one.
Okay.
Oh, we've got a princess. Or you're a unicorn. What is your costume, honey? What are you dressed as?
Unicorn.
You're a unicorn, a rainbow unicorn. Happy Halloween. Take some candy.
Okay, we gotta move along here.
Okay. Oh, we got the KFC. This is a great costume, you guys. You look great. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. We should get some chicken for you.
Go ahead, take some candy. Okay, have fun. Stay warm out there tonight.
There you go.
Hi, guys. How you doing? Oh, I love your costumes.
Thank you.
Happy Halloween.
Happy
Halloween.
All right.
Have fun out there. Here
here's
comes
my
Zoe. This is your
Here's my
niece. This is, Will and Brody. Hi, guys. Happy Halloween, buddy.
Hi.
Say trick or treat.
Trick or treat.
Say trick or treat.
Well, she's gonna have. She's starting early. Runs in the family.
It runs in the family. Steve, how old is she?
Year.
Steve is our executive producer, and this is his daughter Liz's son and daughter, and her husband Will.
Happy Halloween. Okay,
Oh,
bye.
did you get some candy?
Say thank you.
Okay, you want some money? Go ahead. Oh, this is my kind of girl. She's getting right in there. Can you grab one? There you go.
We have about 45 seconds
Okay,
here.
there you go.
Okay, thank you.
Choices.
Here's Liz. Here's Mom.
Hi, guys. Have fun tonight.
Look at this big trick-or-treater.
Look who's here. It's Penny.
And Dana?
It's Pennybug the ladybug. Hi,
And
yes.
you're a ladybug
And
too.
I'm a ladybug also. I'm the ladybug keeper today. Yes.
How's she doing?
She's doing pretty good, actually. For my little 2-year-old crazy doggy, we're having a good Halloween.
So Dana's off today, and Penny is like an internet sensation already. Good girl, Penny.
Stephen, come on in.
Oops.
We got one more here. We have our weekend producer.
Hi, Stephen.
Hi.
Also rounding up the kids.
Thank you. Trick or treat.
Oh, she's back.
Oh my goodness.
All right. Everybody got some candy?
Oh, buddy. So cute.
She's a natural. Happy Halloween, everybody. We'll do this again next year. We'll be right back with the final check of your forecast.
Wife party role playback 3.
Well, we got through with it. Trick-or-treating.
We got through the snow as well.
The thermon's still going.
Is done, but it is definitely still cold outside. It feels like the teens and 20s across southern Wisconsin. So your Halloween forecast as temperatures fall through the 30s and 20s. It will feel like the teens, so bundle up for trick-or-treating tonight, or stay inside and listen to this awesomeness.
I think this should be a regular feature on the show.
Should have a band here. We'll just have Kevin
That's what
every
my
day.
forecast sounds like to most people.
Yeah, a little scary. All right, coming up tomorrow here on Live at 4, Lola and Louie have the best animal stories of the week with the News Hounds.
And we go backstage with Michael Bruno at Janesville Parker High School's production of The Music Man. That's coming up tomorrow on Live at 4. In today's Final Touch, Domino's is rolling out what might be the strangest pizza combo ever.
Take a look at the company's new Bubble Tea Pizza. It's centered around the popular bubble tea, which